everybody, namaste and welcome to our yoga class. I'm Emily. I will be teaching you today. We're going to be making our way through a total body flow today. So some things might be a little bit challenging, but always modify as needed. I'll be offering modifications as we go. I wanted us to work through our entire body today since most of us have been cooped up in our houses for quite a while. That means not getting to do the things that we normally get a chance to. So be it a regular yoga class or our typical time at the gym, we're not moving around as much as we normally do. So we can tend to stiffen up a little bit throughout this. I know for one, my flexibility has taken a pretty big hit in the middle of all of this. So thank you guys for the opportunity to get back to my yoga practice. So we'll start with a little bit of a breathing technique. In yoga, we call it a pranayama. And we're going to be doing our 4-count breath today. So what that means is we'll be breathing in for a count of 4, and then pausing at the top of our breath for a moment, and then breathing out for that same 4 count. It'll help us keep our balance. It'll help us keep stress at bay. It'll help us keep our focus on our task at hand versus all of the distractions that tend to come with doing anything at home, let alone a yoga class where you need an hour to yourself. It happens, especially when you're a parent. So sitting in a comfortable seat, rolling shoulders back, stacking shoulders over hips, either in a kneeling position or sitting crisscross applesauce on the mat, whatever feels most comfortable to you. But just closing your eyes and taking a moment to get centered. Starting to let go of outside thoughts, anything outside of yourself. Trying to narrow those thoughts to our mat and just to our mat. This next hour exists for just us. So taking that nice, deep, easy, cleansing breath in and out. And as you're clearing your mind, start to feel that balance between inhale and exhale. And then on your next inhale, breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Taking a pause at the top of your breath, feeling that expansion through your lungs. And then as you exhale, breathe out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pausing at the bottom of your breath, feeling that hollowness where that fullness just was. Again, breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time, breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4. And then out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Keeping that breath in mind for your entire practice over this next hour. But before we get started with our physical practice, taking a moment here in solitude and silence to think about why you came to your mat today. Maybe it was to try something new. Maybe it was to do something for yourself. Maybe it's to work on strength, to work on patience. Might be something completely different. But whatever that reason is, use it to guide your practice. Set it as your intention for this next hour. Use it to keep pushing you forward when the poses get a little challenging, when our breath begins to falter, or when those distractions feel like they just cannot be ignored anymore. That's why we have that pause button. You can always come back if you absolutely need to, but take this time for yourself as much as you can. And once you have that intention at the forefront of your mind, taking the deepest, fullest breath in you can for the next 4 seconds. Pausing at the top of the breath, letting your intention fill your entire being. And then as you exhale, breathe out through your mouth, that gentle sigh. as you release your intention to your practice. So we'll start in a comfortable seated position, either in a kneeling pose like I am currently in, or you can sit in an easy seat with your legs crossed if you prefer, up to you. But we're just going to reach our arms up overhead. Take a deep breath in as you do, rolling shoulders back, feeling your shoulder blades almost plugging into your back. Lengthening through the spine, through the sides of the body, and then maybe even looking up towards the ceiling. And on your next exhale, we'll lower our right hand down towards the floor. Walk the fingers out a little bit and start to lean over towards the right. Trying to keep both shoulders in line. That left shoulder is going to be tempted to come forward. Try to keep it in line with right as much as you can. Maybe looking towards the ceiling here, feels okay. And then coming back up, next inhale, next exhale, lowering left hand down. Same thing, opposite side, walking left arm out to the side, keeping shoulders in line. Find a length through the right side as you lean towards the left. Okay, coming back through to the center, just moving our spine in every direction, bringing hands back behind you. Try to keep shoulders stacked over hips as you reach your heart forward, looking up. Good. And then exhale, neutralizing spine, hands come forward, lowering torso down. So if you're in your easy seat, you can always stay there, or you can make your way into a child's pose if you'd prefer, with big toes coming together, knees staying in close, and just draping torso over thighs. Taking some time to find length through your shoulder blades. And then inhaling to rise, we'll walk our hands in, lift up to our hands and knees, bringing knees underneath hips, and hands slightly in front of shoulders. So tucking toes under, we're gonna take our first downward facing dog. So bend your knees if you need to. Your heels can be lifted as high as they need to be here. That's perfectly fine. And we'll just take our time in this first downward facing dog. So tucking toes under, take that deep breath in. And as you do, lift your hips up. As you exhale, press the heels of the hands into the mat to send your heart back towards your thighs. Allow your head to drop, maybe bend one knee at a time to walk your dog, reaching the opposite heel a little bit closer to the mat. Just breathing here, creating an upside down V shape with our body. Good. All right, next inhale, keeping the weight evenly distributed into your hands. We'll shift our weight into our left foot and inhale, reach the right leg up as high as we can. Looking at that space between your fingers, exhale, bend the knee, draw knee to chest, and set it down at the front of the mat. All right, so we'll find our balance here. You can always shift your foot out to the side if you need to a little bit. And on your next inhale, we'll sweep our arms up overhead, rolling shoulders back. Taking a second here, check in with your alignment. It's very tempting, again, to pull that hip forward. Try to keep right hip in line with left here. Inhale, lifting up. Keeping that space between your shoulders, keeping your collarbones nice and open. And then we'll start to pivot our heel down. Our left heel is lifted right now in our high lunge. We're gonna pivot it down to make our way into a warrior one. So hips are staying squared, shoulders are staying squared. Deep breath and lift. Good. And then we'll take our hands behind our back, roll our shoulders back, interlace your fingers, almost like you're just trying to allow gravity to open your heart here on its own. So naturally reaching your arms down, pulling your heart up, but keeping that bend through the right knee. And as you exhale, we'll lead with our heart, bring our torso to the inside of this right thigh, and start to fold a little bit in a humble warrior pose. Maybe keeping hands at low back, maybe allowing arms to rise a little. Good. And then we'll inhale, lift our right all the way back up, warrior one, and then lift up to our left toes for our high lunge. Exhale, lower hands down to frame our foot, and firmly planting hands to the mat, we're gonna step back into a plank. Tailbone tucked, shoulders over wrists. Take a deep breath in here, and then as we exhale, our arms are gonna stay in close to our ribs here as we do this. So elbows are gonna bend not out to the sides like a normal push-up, but in towards our midsection. So squeezing ribcage in here, nice and firm. And we'll lower down nice and slow for our first chaturanga. So deep breath in, and as you exhale, lower down. Inhale, press into your hands, lift your heart center. Maybe your knees lower down to the mat here, maybe they stay lifted. But just reaching heart forward, shoulders rolling back. And then tucking toes. Exhale back to downward facing dog. All right, so we're gonna take that same thing on the other side. Deep breath in, float that left leg up as high as you can. Exhale, bend knee, draw knee to chest. Step it down at the front of the mat. Allow your hands to help you if you need to, if you want to. And find that balance as you inhale up to your high lunge. This side might feel completely different. Maybe the side's a little bit more open. 9 times out of 10, our dominant side is gonna be a little bit tighter than our side that we don't use as much, the side that we baby. So this side just happens to be the side I use a little bit more, so it's a little bit tighter, a little less flexible. And then pivoting right heel down, warrior one. Good, interlacing fingers behind your back, rolling shoulders back. Reaching heart forward, knuckles drawing down. And as you exhale, hinge forward, humble warrior. For a little bit added core strengthening, you can even allow your torso to hover a little bit more. Maybe don't let it rest on your thigh, keep it hovered. Good, next inhale, sweeping arms back up, pivoting onto our toes, high lunge. And then exhale, frame foot with hands, step back, and vinyasa through. That's what this little sequence is. Exhale, chaturanga, inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. All right, so taking a pause here, taking a pause in child's pose, pausing the video as much as you need to, but just taking a breath. All right, next inhale, we're gonna make our way back to that right side, but add on a little bit. So the first few poses that we just did, our humble warrior, our warrior, and our high lunge, those are gonna go a little bit faster. We're gonna go with our breath. So inhale into one, exhale into the next, and then we'll add on to it from there and hold those poses for just a little bit longer. So from down dog, take that deep breath in, lift that right leg up, exhale, draw it through, inhale, high lunge. Exhale, pivot that left heel down. Inhale, bring hands back behind your back, roll the shoulders back, keeping that right knee bent at that 90-degree angle. And then exhale, humble warrior. Good, all right, next inhale, we're gonna make our way back to that warrior one. And then we'll open our hands up. So reaching right hand forward, left hand reaches back behind you, and we'll pivot that left heel in just a little bit more. So taking a second here to self-adjust, right hand comes to right knee, left hand comes to left hip, hold them both open. And then looking directly over that right middle finger here, nice strong core, tailbone slightly tucked, opening through our hips a little bit more in our warrior two. Good. All right, next inhale, we'll straighten through this right leg. Take a deep, full breath in and out. And then we'll start to press our hips back. As we press our hips back, our right hand's going to reach forward until it can't reach anymore. From here, we'll lower down into an exhale. So lowering right hand to the back, or back of right hand to the inside of the right shin. Left hand will lift all the way up, triangle pose, Trikonasana. So again, trying to create a very narrow line here. Left shoulder over right, left hip in line with right here. Good. Next, inhale, using a little bit of core strength to lift up. We'll bring our hands to our hips and heel toe the back foot in quite a bit. So about 3 or so feet away from your front foot, depending on how tall you are. So enough length between them to where you can get a stretch, but not so much that you're back heel lifts. You want your back heel down this whole time. So we'll pivot that back foot in to either face forward like the right foot or to face out to the side just a little bit, but we're working towards facing all 10 toes forward. Hands to hips, pull that right hip back a little. And then bringing hands to heart center, take a deep breath in, bend back a little bit. And as you exhale, lead with your heart. Start to hinge the hips as you fold forward here. So actively pressing that right hip back. Maybe it's a little too intense for you and you just want to pause here. This is a very deep hip opener. If you do want to go a little bit further, maybe see if you can tense your fingertips on either side of your right foot. All right, and then we'll go ahead and lift all the way back up. Bend deeply through that right knee, step that left foot back again, reach arms up all the way. Exhale, frame right foot. Inhale, step to plank. Exhale, chaturanga, elbows pulling in towards your midsection. Inhale, lift up to cobra pose or upward facing dog. Only difference is in up dog, your knees are lifted off the mat. And then exhale to downward facing dog. Taking a pause here. So pausing for about 5 breaths in between sides. And then whenever you're ready, finding that balance, inhale, float right or left leg up as high as you can. Bending through right knee, exhale, drop, or bending through left knee, exhale, drop, knee to chest, step the foot down between your hands. Finding balance, inhale, lift up, high lunge, and then exhale, pivot onto that right heel, warrior one. So this is a very challenging pose for me on this side. My right ankle doesn't like it, it's gonna lift a little bit, that's okay. We're all built differently, and it's perfectly fine to have that little bit of differentiation between poses. Good. Bringing hands behind your back, inhale, lower knuckles down that back leg, exhale, fold forward, humble warrior. All right, and then inhale, lifting back up. We'll open up to our warrior two from here. So reaching left hand forward, right hand back behind you. Again, finding that that alignment of hips, right hip behind left, right shoulder behind left shoulder. Good, inhaling, straightening through left leg, pulling that right hip back, reaching left hand forward, and then exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, lift back up. Hands coming to the hips, heel toeing right leg in. This side might feel completely different, so just adjust accordingly. But pulling that left hip back, take that deep breath in, hands come to heart center, and then exhale, fold. This pose has kind of a narrow stance, so if you find yourself wobbling, you can always widen your stance a little bit, up to you. But keeping core active to help find that balance. Maybe lowering hands. Good. Hands coming back to the heart center, finding your balance as you rise. Bending through left knee, lifting up to right toes, reaching both hands up overhead. And then exhale, frame your foot. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And then exhale, down dog. Take a pause here, 5 breaths. You can always rest in child's pose here by lowering down to your knees. Big toes come together, knees can stay in or walk out as wide as your mat, up to you. But resetting your breath. All right, and then adding on from here, inhale, lift that right leg up as high as you can. Exhale, draw it in towards chest, step foot down between your hands. Find that balance. Inhale, high lunge, Anjaneyasana. Good. Exhale, pivot onto the heel of the foot, warrior one, Virabhadrasana. Good. And then bringing hands back behind your back. Roll your shoulders down, draw knuckles down. And then exhale, fold into your humble warrior. Good, inhale, lift back up. Exhale, open up into your warrior two. And then inhale, straighten through that right leg, reach right hand forward, left hip pulls back, exhale, triangle pose. Inhaling, lifting back up, hands come to hips, heel toe that foot and find that alignment to where both heels can rest comfortably on the mat. Hands come to heart center, bend back. Exhale, fold forward, Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. All right, and then inhaling, lifting back up. This time, I'm gonna step my foot in a little bit just because I'll be off camera if I don't. But we're going to make our way into a warrior three from here. So this one's a little bit of a balance. So a lot of a balance. You definitely need some core strength here. So belly button's gonna pull in towards the center, really activating those abdominal muscles. Hands can stay at heart center. Personally, I prefer hands at heart center for me. Otherwise, I get off balance pretty easily. But you can always lift arms up overhead if you prefer. It's a little bit more challenging. Your practice, your call. So hands coming to wherever you want them to be. Find your focal point, something towards the floor that you can keep your focus on, something that's not moving, so not a pet. And then shifting weight into that front foot, lifting up to your left toes, keeping that straight spine. So imagining you're a seesaw here. Maybe you just barely lift your toes off the mat. That's perfectly fine. But as high as your foot lifts, that's how low your head is going to go. Trying to pull that left hip down. It's going to want to lift up a little bit here. Try to keep it in line with right. Good. All right. And then we're going to make our way back up. But before we allow our toes to touch down, we're going to bring our knee up here. So interlacing fingers right here. You can bring your knee in line with your hip and just hold on here if you want to. It's going to be a long balance. So find what's most comfortable for you. If you've practiced yoga before, maybe you're comfortable lowering your torso down, but take your time. Our practices are different from one day to the next. Maybe this is as far as you want to go. If you do have a little bit more range of motion today and want to bring your hand to your foot, you can always take it here. Or full expression would be extending your leg out. Ooh. Wherever you are though, take your time making your way back up. And lower your foot down for a pause. We're gonna make our way into a few balancing poses, one right after another, but there's no harm in taking a pause in between, especially when we're first learning. All right, but then whenever you're ready to, we're gonna bring hands to heart center again. Keeping that weight into the right foot. So keeping that weight. So hands coming to the heart center. Keeping your weight in your right foot here, lifting up to your left toes. We're gonna bend through that right knee and then lift that left leg back up. So you can stay here if you want to, find that focal point, keep core engaged, or maybe cross left leg over right. So left knee over right knee, sinking hips down a little bit lower, squeezing inner thighs together, squeezing hands together here. Kind of a modified eagle pose. And if you have the space, you can always tuck toes behind you. But keeping hips centered, keeping that right knee centered here too. Good job. And then next, inhale, uncrossing legs, extending through right leg, bringing left leg back behind you, making your way back into that high lunge. We're gonna reach both hands up overhead. Exhale, frame our foot. And vinyasa through this. So if you want to skip your vinyasa and go straight to a downward facing dog, that's always an option. You can always make it a little harder too by keeping that right leg lifted as you make your way through. All right, so same thing, other side. Taking a pause first though, coming back to your breath, finding your focus, your center, remembering your intention. And then next, inhale, lift that left leg up. Exhale, draw it through. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, warrior one. Inhale, hands behind back, roll shoulders back, heart forward. Exhale, humble warrior. Inhale, pivot all the way onto. Inhale, reach arms up overhead, windmill into your warrior two. And then extending through left leg. Inhale, reach right hand or right hip back, left hand forward. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, coming back up, hands coming to the heart center, heel toeing right leg in a little bit, facing hips forward, deep breath in, lifting heart. Exhale, fold forward, left hip pulling back as much as it can. All right, good. Inhaling, lifting back up. Again, hands can stay at heart center here. I'm gonna pull my legs back just so I stay in frame. But finding your balance, finding your core, shifting weight to left foot, lifting up to right toes, deciding if you want to stay right here or maybe make your way down a little bit more. Trusting that left leg to hold you. Good. Inhaling, lifting back up. As you do, bring that soft bend through the right knee. Interlace fingers and decide where you want to stay for your head to knee pose. So head to knee is just a name. You don't have to get your head to your knee at all. That's perfectly fine. Deciding if you want to stay there, maybe fold forward, bring hands to foot. And then again, full expression would be extending through that lifted leg. Heel pressing back if you are extending. Good. Releasing the fold. Maybe taking a pause here to lower your leg down, or maybe keeping the knee lifted. Bending through left knee, making your way into that eagle pose. Take your time though. Squeezing everything in together. That'll help you find your balance a little bit more. It'll help you sink a little bit lower here too. If you get wobbly, that's okay. And then inhale, lift back up. Bring right leg back behind you, making your way back into that high lunge. And then exhale, frame your foot, step back. Deep breath into plank, and then exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Moving with your breath. Remembering to breathe. Taking a pause. All right. So last round here before we start pulling down. Deep breath in, lifting, right leg up. And then exhale, draw through. Sinking hips a little bit lower if you have the space this time. Inhale, lift up to your high lunge. And then exhale, warrior one. Good. Inhale, hands behind your back, roll shoulders back. Exhale, humble warrior. Inhale, lifting back up. Exhale, warrior two. Good. Inhale, extend that leg. As you extend the leg, reach right hand forward, left hip back. Exhale, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Good. Inhale, lift back up. Hands to the hips. Heel toe, left foot in. Maybe right leg back a little bit. Parsvottanasana. Lean back, and then as you exhale, reach with your heart. Fold forward. All right, inhaling, making your way back up. Maybe stepping right foot back a little bit, but finding that weight distributing, or finding that weight reaching forward into that right foot. Left toes becoming lighter. I need to step way back here. And then exhale. Warrior three. Inhaling, lifting back up. Interlacing fingers. I'm going to keep my knee bent this time just to show you the difference. And that's fine. You can do this one time and then go further if you want. Totally up to you. Like I said, it's your practice, so it's your call. Good. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and make our way back into that eagle pose. Hands coming to heart center. Bending through both knees. All right, so this time we're going to extend back up, and you can lower your toes down for a second if you want to, but we're going to bring left foot back in line with right. This time, knees staying bent, you're gonna bring your right or your left heel behind you. Right hand reaches up towards the ceiling. Left hand either reaches for the outer edge or instep of that left foot. Pressing firmly into your hand with your foot. Start to open your heart center, keeping that right arm reaching forward. Maybe starting to hinge forward for dancer pose. Good, next inhale, coming back up. And then we'll step left foot back again. So this time, like I said, I need to step forward. My yoga room is very small, that's okay though. So stepping back and making your way into that crescent lunge again. This time we'll lower our left leg down. Left knee resting on the mat, top of the foot resting too. Reaching back a little bit more. You should be able to sink your hips down just a little bit more with that knee lowered. Good, and then we'll make our way to the mat. So hands are going to come to the inside of our right foot, and we'll bring that right foot back and kind of in towards the center. So right knee will come in between both hands, behind them, but kind of in between that space. Tucking toes under on the left foot, lifting that left knee up. We will pivot onto the sole of the foot here, just like we did in our warrior two pose. But this time hips squared, hips open, towards the left side of the mat. Tailbone tucked, right hand down underneath right shoulder. And then we'll inhale, lift left arm up and over. You can stay here if you want to. You can always send hips forward to add that little back bend in. And then lowering back down, stepping through to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog, pause. All right, last one. Inhale, lift left leg up as high as you can. Exhale, bend knee, draw knee to chest, set it down. Inhale, lift arms up. Exhale, pivot onto the heel of the right foot. Inhale, hands behind your back, roll shoulders back. Exhale, humble warrior. Good. Inhale, opening up to your warrior two. So pivoting right heel in, opening arms up. And then straightening through left leg. Inhale, reach left hand forward, right hip back. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, lift back up, hands to hips. I'm gonna step my left foot back this time because that'll help me out quite a bit. Squaring hips, finding your balance. Hands come to the heart center, shifting weight forward. Warrior three. Good. Inhale, lift back up, interlacing fingers as you send knee in front, knee in line with hip. Deciding if you want to stay here, maybe bring hands underneath foot or extend the leg, up to you. All right, and then hands coming back to the heart center, bending through left knee, eagle pose, Gardasana. It's really hard to talk while doing this, just FYI. Inhaling, lifting back up, bending left knee, or bending right knee, extending through left. Reaching right hand back for the top of the right foot, left arm up. Dancer pose, Madanasana. All right, and then reaching back up, stepping right foot back, high lunge, and then lowering that right knee down. Reaching both arms all the way up, sending hips back, finding that length, allowing that length to come through your spine, and then exhale, see if you can sink a little bit more. Keeping core active here to keep that pinch of the low back. Good, and then lowering hands down to the inside. Again, we'll take our left knee to face towards the right side of the mat, top of the foot resting, lifting right knee up, pivoting onto the heel of the right foot. Left hand under left shoulder, inhale, reach right arm up and over, half circle pose. And again, you can keep that straight spine if you want to. If your back is open enough to add that little back bend, then you can. All right. Making your way back down to your mat, squaring shoulders, lifting back up, stepping left foot back to meet right. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. And then this time we'll lower our knees down, big toes come together. Knees can come out wide, sinking hips towards heels, child's pose. So from child's pose, we'll make our way back to table. Resetting our knees underneath our hips, and we'll walk our hands forward. So walking hands towards the front of the mat, take that deep breath and lengthen the spine, and then trying to keep hips over knees. Go ahead and start to melt your heart down towards the mat. If shoulders still feel a little bit tight, that's okay. Maybe compensate by bringing hands to the center in that Anjali Mudra or prayer mudra, and bend the elbows here. But we're opening up our heart by reaching our heart towards the mat while keeping our hips lifted. Good, next inhale, lifting up to forearms, interlacing fingers again, lowering pelvic muscles down to the mat, and just resting in a variation of Sphinx pose. We're going to bring our knuckles underneath our chin and just rest here in our crocodile pose. So this is a great way to massage the thyroid muscles. Allowing your breath to ease, allowing it to slow. Still rolling shoulders back. And then lowering hands back down. Taking a moment here, pressing hands firmly into the mat, lifting back up to one more cobra pose, a very soft one, elbows bent. And then back to table. This time we're gonna walk our knees in towards our hands, lower down to one hip. And then keeping our left leg bent, we'll extend our right leg out in front of us, bringing the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Reaching hands up overhead, deep breath in. And then as you exhale, bend through your right knee. See if you can hold onto the sole of the right foot. Allowing all distractions just kind of fall to the side. I know it's hard to stay focused in our home, especially doing something that tends to take all of your focus. It's hard to do. So just breathe through distractions. Breathe through kids calling mommy, kids calling daddy. I'm breathing through Arya singing in the background right now, and that's just life. We go with the flow with it. So taking a pause here, lengthening through your spine, and then exhale, allow your upper body to drape over your lower body. Tucking chin to chest, working head towards knee. You can keep as deep of a bend through your knee as you want to. Maybe if you do have that space though to bring head to knee, use that space to press your head into your leg to get a little bit straighter. Trying to bring both shoulders in line. Again, our tendency is to bring whatever leg is forward, that shoulder tends to go forward with it. Try to pull it back. Good. Next, inhale, lifting back up. We'll keep this leg extended just for a moment and just open our hips towards the side a little bit more. Foot staying flexed, shoulders open. We'll walk our right hand down towards our right foot and take our peace fingers and just wrap them around our Achilles. I know it sounds like it's gonna be uncomfortable, it might be, but we're just breathing through it. Using our elbows leverage to keep our torso twisted open. Deep breath in, reach left hand up overhead, and then exhale, work towards your fold. You do not have to touch your toes here. It took me a very long time to get here. You can always use a strap if you want to. You can use a towel to get a little bit deeper into your fold. The goal though isn't to touch your toes, it's to keep that opening, keeping left shoulder stacked over right. If you feel yourself compromising to reach your toes, back out of it a little bit. Next, inhale, lifting all the way back up. And we'll just switch sides. So bringing hips forward again, bending through right knee, extending through left. Sole of the foot to the inside of the left thigh. Deep breath in, reaching both hands up overhead, and then bending through your foot, interlacing fingers, hand to the foot. Good. Next, inhale, releasing foot, lifting all the way back up. And then just opening hips towards the right side a little bit more. Left foot flexed. And then walking your left hand down towards your left foot, rotating your shoulder to where you can wrap your peace fingers around your Achilles, or maybe even just letting them stay by your foot. That's perfectly fine too. You can always modify by bringing peace fingers around big toe. Up to you, but just bending your elbow enough to where you can press it into your left leg to open your torso towards the right side of the mat. Deep breath in, lifting right hand up, and then reaching for toes. Again, on this side, my shoulder wants to go forward to reach my foot, so I'm going to back out of it a little bit to work on that alignment. And next, inhale, lifting all the way back up. Facing forward again, bending through your knees, bringing soles of the feet in as close as you can get them, wrapping arms around your legs. Deep breath in, lengthening through the spine, and then exhale, tuck chin to chest. And just round through your spine, like you're trying to reach the back of your heart towards the back of the mat. Connecting head to knee if you have that space. And then from here, just rolling down one vertebrae at a time. So nice and slowly, holding onto your legs the whole time. Lowering lumbar spine first, then thoracic. Keeping chin tucked to chest to lower cervical spine as much as you can. Allow your legs to, allow your feet to open up as wide as your mat, and just windshield wipe your legs back and forth, letting your head fall to the opposite side as you do. Coming back to the center, extending legs all the way flat to the mat, taking up as much space as you need, and just melting. Closing your eyes, letting your breath be what it is, letting go of everything outside of the four sides of your mat, everything outside of your own internal self. Staying here for as long as you need. Pausing the video, coming back to it whenever you're ready. And then after your Shavasana, starting to stretch arms up overhead, feet down below you. Bending through your knees, rolling over to the right side of your body. Eyes staying closed just for another moment. Taking this time to reflect on your class and on your practice. And then bringing yourself all the way up to an easy seat. Hands coming to your heart center. Bowing eyes, lifting hearts. I thank you all so much for joining me for this yoga class today. The light in me honors and loves light in each and every one of you. Namaste.